Fantastic. Um, let's take a look. Everyone ready for Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Sort of. Welcome
Uh,
home, Judy. When did you get home?
Friday night.
Oh, are you amongst us yet?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Our flight was 8 hours delayed.
Oh my God.
So that was a long, long day at the airport in Osaka.
Oh no.
how was Japan?
It was beautiful. We got the fall colors. So, and last lesson, Susan had her little S curve going through all the maples.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was it was great. People are not, it's so clean and anyway, we were very lucky with the weather and a good group of people. You will love it, Cass.
I'm excited.
Yeah, yeah.
it's on my bucket list as well. There's two things. I'd like to go and see the cherry blossom there, and I love monkeys, and they have these snow monkeys in northern Japan that kind of hang out in these lagoons. And they're like these funny little monkeys with like beautiful hair around them, and they have all like icicles on their nose, and they have great eyes. One of my I have two main bucket lists for it. One is to go and see the gorillas in Rwanda,
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
see the wild, and the other is the snow monkeys in Japan. So those are high on my bucket list.
You will
If
do it.
if any of you have managed to ever be that. Okay, so let's turn, if you don't mind, Isabella, Iris, Kate, if you feel comfortable, if you guys can turn your webcams on, that would be great.
Ooh.
Just so I can see you. There's Isabella. Hi, Isabella. Great.
Hello.
There's Iris. Hi, Iris. Nice to see
Hi.
you. Good. And there's Kate. Perfect. Okay, cool. So we've got, I know a few people are unable to make it today. We've got a nice sized group though today. How did everyone find the assignment?
Challenging.
Yeah, it was meant to be challenging. Why did you find it challenging, Karen?
Well, I really found to get very close, I needed a tripod. It would have been easier if I had had a tripod, and I was
Interesting.
trying not to get too close, use the zoom, but
Why do you think it would have been easier to have a tripod to get closer?
I would have felt better about the focusing.
Okay. So the tricky with holding the camera, focusing at the same time, and being close to things. Because
Yeah.
it's actually interesting. A lot of people usually think, say, the inverse. They use a tripod and they actually feel a bit restricted because they feel like they don't have quite as much mobility and you're not quite as, I mean, when you get good with the tripod, you get better. But a lot of people at the beginning almost feel like the tripod, which I disagree with, but people struggle with it, is they feel like the tripod is like a crutch, like it's stuck. And then it's a whole thing. You got to pick up the tripod, you got to move it if you want to change it to a lower perspective rather than just kind of have the fluidity of moving. But yes, it definitely, if you're trying to take a picture of some type of still life subject, a flower, food, whatever, especially if you've got your composition all nicely framed, it's obviously advantageous to have a tripod because then everything's not moving, you're not moving, the thing you're taking a picture is not really moving. You can really focus on, no pun
Mhm.
intended, focus on getting that focus in the right place. Diana, how did
But
you?
everybody's in on an iPhone, I think, Adam.
Yeah, everyone, yeah, the whole group is, yeah, absolutely. Uh, Diana, how, but you can get tripods for iPhones. That's why
Yeah.
so you can get the little mini tripods. I think I shared with you guys this last time. I can't see myself anymore, but hopefully you can see me. There's lots of different stands you can get for the iPhone, like cases that include these little pull-out stands that are great because you find a surface and you can just rest it either this way or this way, and then essentially that is your tripod, and it just clips on. They're like $30 on Amazon. So you don't necessarily need a whole setup, but you can get really busy and there's some tripods like if you're going traveling and things. There's some cool ones for the iPods that you can wrap around lampposts and put on trees and do some cool things with, but I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right today. Um, let's ask someone else. How did you find the assignment?
I thought it was, I went out to do certain things,
Yeah.
and those things turned out to be a mess when I got back. So I ended up with what I did.
Well, we're always our own harshest critic. Sometimes the beauty can be found in the chaos. So,
Uh-huh.
uh,
That's
what,
right.
what about Elaine? How did you find it if you had a chance to do them?
Well, actually, I went through my photos because while I was traveling, I was using some of your tips. So I hope the picture or the photo that I sent fit the bill.
Good, good, good. So the real reason that I wanted this assignment is, as I mentioned to you guys last time, one of the biggest challenges when we start as photographers, even on the intermediate level and even pushing to more of an advanced expert level, is one of the kind of big mistakes or thing that people find hard is they include too much in their photos. They want to show everything. They're in Osaka and they're like, oh my God, look how amazing these buildings are, and the sky's amazing, and the street's amazing. There's interesting people, and there's a dog down there as well, and I want to get it all in. But
Mhm.
actually, then you end up veering away from a lot of the stuff we talked about in lesson one, which was your
Mhm.
vanishing points, your S curves, your rule of thirds. And you end up just getting quite a busy picture where the eye doesn't naturally land on one thing. As I've said before, ideally, and you're going to see this, you guys sent a really nice suite of photos over for us to have a look off and me to teach off. But not always, but the majority of times in our photography, we want to using these various tools that we now have in our toolbox. Could be leading lines, could be framing,
Mhm.
could be symmetry, could be rule of thirds. There's a lot that could be lighting, could be color, could be focus. There's all these different things that kind of sit in our photography skill set. But the aim is to use those with intention to take the viewer's attention to your main focal point, to the main subject. That's the key. You don't want someone looking at your picture and thinking, should I go here? Should I go here? Should I go here? Or should I go here? GCA picked this up the whole time, the judges, and me as a judge, not for GCA, but I judge a lot of photography competitions. Um, and usually the number one piece of feedback is the photographer has shown too much. So filling the frame was designed, and I purposely didn't tell you too much about it because I wanted you to go away. And I know some of you emailed me to ask for kind of clarification on the theme, but it was to really encourage you to get into that mindset that photography is the only artistic discipline that is about exclusion rather than about addition. It's distilling the complexity of the world around us. It's looking at these big chaotic scenes that we live in, or even if it's just a flower and there's so much going on, and really you asking yourself the question, what's important here? Is everything in my frame, does it need to be here? Is it serving a purpose? And then taking your picture. That moves you from people who take pictures to people who make pictures. And that's kind of the key. That's like the theme of the whole thing I'm trying to get you guys to do is to be more intentional with how you shoot, not just go take 50 photos and hope one turns out. More think about what you're doing before you do it, kind of know what you want to do. There may be some technical challenges, there may be some difficulties executing what you want to do, and those we get to. But the key is the more you practice, which is why I say the assignments, the better you will quote unquote see. And a big job of seeing in photography is not showing too much. It's that whole show less, tell more adage that I mentioned in the last class. So that was why I set it for you. And I hope that it made sense, even though it was somewhat of an abstract theme. So we're going to have a look at what you all did today. There's a lot of learnings, I think, that come out of that. We're going to push you on a little bit further with some of the conceptual and some of the technical stuff as well today. So please all make sure you have your iPhones to hand if you
Oh,
already, because I'm definitely going to be pointing out a couple of things on iPhone today that I want to show you. And as usual, lesson is recorded. You can go and review. If I'm going over anything too fast or you don't understand, please put up your hand. If I don't see you, just because we have quite a lot of people on the Zoom and it only shows me 5 of you at a time and it flicks through you, just feel free to interrupt me, shout out your name, and I'll make sure that we get your question answered. So with
Um,
that,
um,
oh, go for it.
Adam, it's
Question?
Sally Cadell, and I
Hi, Sally.
see I'm blank on there. I don't know how to get my face on there to let
And
you
it
know
looks
I'm
like
here.
your webcam is facing your desk. What are you on? Are you on your phone or you're on your computer?
I'm on my computer,
Okay. The
and I
webcam looks like it's pointing at your desk or at the floor. Um,
well, I'm on here. Okay. Well, I don't know. So I pressed share and it's
No, no,
not
no. Your
working.
webcam is on, Sally. Just for some
Okay.
reason, I don't. We're pointing at some kind of brown desk or brown piece of wood.
Oh,
And
okay.
maybe
Yeah,
just by
that.
shifting your screen up and down, the webcam sits like right on top of your laptop or your computer. It's just, but don't worry, I know you're there. As long as I know you're there, it's okay.
Okay.
Um,
Well, hello, everybody. I'm sorry I'm looking like a table.
it's all right. Does anyone else have any questions?
She's filling the screen.
She is filling the screen. That is an abstract image. I like that. They fill the frame. That's
Yeah.
one we go and hang up in
You
MoMA.
can liken me to a turkey. I'm brown.
Okay, so let me share my screen and let's jump into today's class. So yeah, you guys did a great job. There was a whole variety of things you sent me, which was really interesting. So if another thing I will say is stuff sometimes gets to me in dribs and drabs, like and some of you send it at like middle of the night for my time or whatever. Just if for some reason you don't see your picture here, hopefully I get everyone in. But again, please just let me know, and I'll make sure I get your included in the presentation. And if not, I'll get you written feedback. But I would like to see if I can get everyone on the presentation today. So, everyone see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Okay, let's make it a bit bigger. Okay, so let's start at the top. Start up here. Actually, before I even start, one thing I wanted to ask, well, remind you guys, a couple of logistical things. When you send me images, when you email them to me, especially from an iPhone, we've now set most of your iPhones. If you remember, we spent a bit of time talking about the difference between shooting a RAW file, a big file, and a JPEG. A RAW file is when you like want to do something with the pictures, and it's about 4 times the size of a JPEG. But you don't need to send me the RAW file. You just need the RAW file. If you wanted to, when we go, and again, we haven't got there as a group yet, but when you get more to editing and what you can do to your pictures, you're going to want that RAW file because it has a lot more information. It has a lot more of this big word that you hear me talk about called dynamic range, the amount of light from dark to light, how much you can see. But when you send them to me, when you email them to me, Apple will usually give you a little thing saying, do you want to send original, large, small, medium, depending on the pictures. Um, Even if you send me, because someone asked me this question, I think it's good to share with the group. Even if you send me original, it still sends to me as a JPEG.
Oh,
Apple like shrinks it down, which is
Hmm.
good. Which is I don't need the big ones. It's big enough. Unless you have a setting turned on your iPhone, which I don't think any of you would have set on. The iPhone will always, and this is useful to know if ever you send something into GC or sending something to a friend. Essentially, when we're taking it on the phone, here's my phone. We're taking it as a RAW, and then when we email it, it gets compressed to a JPEG. But you do want to make sure that you either click on original, or if you're trying to send me 3 or 4 in a kind of in one email, it's absolutely fine to do large. Just don't go any smaller than large. Medium and small, they end up being teeny weeny pictures that are very hard for both me to present to the class, but also just for me to see and assess. But that was a question someone asked me, and I think it's worth sharing with the group. Um, Try to keep them in the original and the large. And as you remember, raw is up here. There's like a word when you're taking your picture. It usually has a line through it, which is because Apple know that most of the time you're taking pictures of inconsequential things, receipts, stuff in the grocery store, whatever it may be. But when we know we're heading out to a garden, when we know we're going to Osaka, to Japan, and we're going to take some cool pictures of the full color, I want you to touch up here where it says raw, take away the line and keep it there. And then we know when we come home, all of your photos are going to be in RAW, which means ultimately, when I get the majority of you guys into Lightroom, which is the program I'm currently using, which is kind of my long-term aim, I want you to use Lightroom on your phone and Lightroom on your computer so everything kind of talks to each other and it becomes seamless and very easy for you. Then we need to make sure that we have kind of a good shooting etiquette in place. And this is one way to start getting a good kind of digital workflow. Okay. That's a logistical thing, but it's important. Um, Everyone remember that. You may on some of your iPhones, I should mention this, some of you may not see the word RAW.
Right.
On
Mhm.
some of you may see something called HIEC, and some of you
Oh,
may see something called DNG. This is just, it depends on what phone you've got. Anything like a newer phone, you're going to see the word RAW. DNG stands for digital negative. These are all types of raw files. They just give them different names. And .HEIC is just an Apple raw file.
Is that the same as actual size?
No, yes, theoretically, but when you take the picture, you won't.
Okay.
I'm talking about when you actually physically take the picture. I want you to, if it's something that you know you're going to do, if you go to Yosemite and you're standing at tunnel view in Yosemite looking out onto Yosemite, I want you to take a raw photo. I don't want you to take a JPEG.
Huh.
But what I'm saying is for some of you, especially those of you who have slightly older phones, you may not see the word raw.
Mhm.
You may see the word HEIC, or you may see the word DN, or the letters DNG. It all means the same thing. You just don't want to be seeing .jpg when you take the photo, which is JPEG.
I guess I don't know where that is if I'm opening my camera.
Judy, were you at the last class? I can't remember.
No, I was in Japan.
So maybe I could have said, go back and watch the recording. You'll
Okay,
probably have to go into your settings in your camera and you have to turn it
perfect.
on.
Okay, thank you.
But I went through it in the last class, so I'm not,
Okay,
for the sake of everyone else, I'm not going to run through that again. But it's really easy to turn on. And if you're having any issues, just message me.
okay, thank you.
Wait, Adam, let me ask you one thing. Is there any version of the iPhone that if we want to keep moving forward, that anybody should ask for a new one for Christmas? Is
Good question.
Well, that's a loaded question.
no, but I'm just saying, so that everyone can continue their learning curve.
Oh,
I'm just
absolutely. I mean,
ask.
I always say that the gear is not everything, so don't get hung up on the equipment. The best camera is usually the 2 inches behind it, which is you guys. Um, but that being said, the new iPhone is phenomenal for taking pictures, the iPhone 17. But here's what I'll say. If any of you have got an iPhone 16, you're not going to notice a huge difference going from the 16 to the 17. The
But if
main,
there's a 12 in the group,
oh,
should they
if
ask?
there's a 12, 13, 14,
Okay,
you're going to
perfect.
notice a monumental leap. And it's mainly on three things. So every year when the new iPhone comes out, which is always in September, they always improve the camera. And the main three things that they're usually improving are one, they improve the amount of what we call optical zoom.
Mhm.
So that means rather than you do that pinch, pinch, pinch that I've told you not to do, and I've encouraged the whole group to press the numbers or you all know this, use your thumb for the wheel. The new iPhone zooms in a lot more than the previous iPhones without losing any quality. It retains optical zoom depending on which one you get, to a focal length of between like 140 millimeter and 200 millimeter, which is crazy because it's kind of like, I'm still here, but it's kind of like your iPhone is this lens.
Wow.
This is a 200 millimeter lens on a traditional camera, but they've now on the new 17 Pro Max, which is like the highest of the high end one, they essentially have a lens built in that is the same as this. And this is like massive, right? Big and heavy. And this still takes amazing pictures. But that's one of the things, the zoom. The second thing that you'll hear them, like if you do any reading or you watch any reviews or you go on YouTube and you say buy a new iPhone 17 or 16, is every year they increase the dynamic range. This is a good question, Cass. And what that means is they increase the amount of light that your camera can see. So that's not relevant if you're in amazing light and you go out to the Carmel beach today and you take pictures and it's sunny. You're not going to notice much of a difference. I don't know if it's sunny, but if you notice, going to not much of a difference between a 15, 16, 17. But if it's cloudy, if you're shooting into the sun, if you're inside, if you're in a church, if you're in photographing a horse under a canopy, any type of like what the camera deems as dark, the ability to shoot in lower light becomes better as the cameras like progress year on year. And then the third thing they they try to sell you on, which I actually think is the least important, is the megapixels or the resolution. Sometimes you hear this referred to as resolution. And what this just means is if this is your photo and this is your frame, is how many, if we put it under a microscope, how many little tiny, tiny megapixels are packed per square inch of your picture, of your frame. The more megapixels you have, arguably, the more light you see, the more color you see, the sharper the picture is. But the iPhone 17, in truth, goes up to 48 megapixels, which for 99.9% of the population is a waste of time. You don't need it. Unless you're going to say, I'm going to blow something up and I'm going to print it 20 foot long.
Oh,
It's overkill. So they keep on upping resolution and upping resolution and upping resolution. And for most of what we as professional photographers refer to as the prosumer, which is you guys, you don't need anything more than maybe 15 megapixels. So that's kind of a bit of marketing jargon to get you to buy the phone. I'm just showing it to you because you'll see that brought up, but don't get too hung up on that. The only reason that having more megapixels is potentially important is if this is your frame and we take a picture of this kid and his eyes are like here and here. Okay, here's his eyes. And we take this picture and then we're like, I didn't quite get close enough. So I need to crop in on the picture afterwards. Well, the whole image is 48 megapixels. But if we crop in, let's just say we halved it, then it's going to be 24 megapixels. Well, that's still fine. But when we crop in and we take a tiny little part of the photo like this and we only take 10% of them, then maybe you're down to like a 4 megapixel image. And that you can't do anything with. You need a minimum of 10 to 12 megapixels. So we call this pixel pushing, but having more megapixels allows you to crop in closer without losing so much quality. But that kind of goes against everything I'm trying to teach you, because I don't want you to be lazy and take a picture and then crop in. I want you, if possible, sometimes it's not possible because the bird is up on the tree, on the branch miles away, or you're on a boat and you're taking a picture across the shoreline of something. But if you can, I want you to get the composition as correct as you can straight out the camera and not rely on cropping. Because when you crop, every time you crop, even though it's just a teeny weeny bit, you are losing quality. You're losing megapixels. So to answer Cass's point, for those of you who have, I would say anything older than an iPhone 15, so if you're 12, 13, 14, you're probably due an upgrade anyway. The
Santa.
Yeah, well, yes. And also Apple are a bit naughty. So what Apple do is they release new operating systems every year. And they make and they make you install it. It's like mandatory. You don't have a choice. But what happens is if you're running the newer operating systems that are defined for the iPhone 16 and iPhone 17 on an iPhone 12, 13, 14, what you're going to notice is your battery is going to last like 3 hours, and then you're going to have to plug it in. They do that on purpose, unfortunately, to make people buy the new phones. So they say the average shelf life of an iPhone is about 3 to 5 years. So if you're pushing that, as I say, I would make an argument that I could give you an iPhone 5, and if you know what you're doing, you could still take pictures.
Yeah.
Adam, it's Sally Cadalican.
Hey, Sally.
I'd like to just share, I have a 16 and I took the class at the Apple Store about where I should have it, and they taught me about removing. It totally removes. I took the photo of the beach, the sunset beach,
Yeah.
and there were boxes down there and things down there, and I went into edit and I just did a remove and gone. They were gone.
Yeah. So on the
It was
16 and
wonderful.
thank you for sharing that, Sally. On the 16 and 17, they've actually brought it in on some of the older phones, but it doesn't work as well because it's what we call a software update, not a hardware update. So it comes when they update the phone. But they've incorporated a lot of AI, Apple AI, into it. And one of those many tools is the fact that you can remove distracting elements.
Yeah.
which is huge. You can just literally just like draw over it. If this kid had a lizard growing across his face, I don't know why I said lizard, but you could have a lizard, I could just paint across and it would get rid of the lizard.
Right.
So yeah, and again, editing, one thing I'll say is where I'd like to move this group in the long term is actually where you're not doing editing predominantly on your phone, where you're doing editing predominantly on your computer. A, it's easier. You're seeing everything much bigger, so it just becomes easier to assess what you need to do and what you don't need to do. B, when you edit on an iPhone, so when you hit that edit and you have crop and you have all the sliders that some of you may have played around with, that is something called destructive editing. Okay? Which sounds like a bad word, and it is a bad word. What it means, destructive editing, is that every time you make a change to the photo, whatever you do, slightly increase the exposure, the brightness, slightly crop in on it, whatever, slightly rotate it, doesn't matter. Every time you can do it, you can think about like, this is your photo, and I'm kind of scratching a little bit away at the picture, at the real picture. And the more you edit, the more you scratch away and you scratch away and you scratch away. And lots of people over edit, and then the picture ends up looking like a disaster. You're editing on the original file, and then Apple, just the way the algorithm works with Apple, is it's saving, it's kind of all baked in. So it's called destructive editing. It's very hard to go backwards and it damages your file. I think Apple will get to a point, maybe in 1, 2, 3 generations' time, where they're doing what's called non-destructive editing. But at the moment, this is a big downside of editing on an iPhone. So what I do and have done for the last 10 years of teaching iPhone photography workshops is I try and move everyone, and I'm not going to do this with the class today, but this is kind of to come. I try and move everyone from shooting on your iPhone, still shooting on your iPhone, but we keep it within this program that I show you all the photos with. It's called Lightroom. It's the same people who make Photoshop, but it's like by far, I mean, there isn't really another photography program now. They've kind of put everyone else out of business. Even Apple made their own one called Aperture. It ran for about 3 years and then they stopped using it because everyone was using this. But the aim is to have you like taking photos on your iPhone, and then you come back to your computer from the beautiful garden you've been in, from the hike, from the walk with your dogs, whatever you're doing, and the pictures are all waiting for you in this thing called Lightroom Classic, which is on your computer. Now, if you don't have any of this, I don't want you to download it now. I don't want you to download it today. I just want you to know that it's on our radar of things to do. I'm kind of dealing with let's get better at taking pictures first. Then I'm going to bring in the how do we organize them, how do we edit them element. But the majority of people who are getting a bit more serious about their photography, starting to, I don't know, let's say you wanted to enter the Focus magazine for GCA, but you also wanted to make a book for Christmas, and you also wanted to make a holiday card, and you also wanted to print some things out to give to your spouse. This is your one, Lightroom is your one-stop shop for everything you can imagine that you would ever want to do with your photography. So eventually, not today, but I'll move you. But thank you for sharing that, Sally. The newer iPhones, when it comes to editing, they're quicker and they have a few more features, but again, they're all destructive editing. So ultimately, I wouldn't recommend using them in the long run. I think it's, and for those, let's just have a show of hands actually. How many of you, if any, have any experience or have ever used this program, Lightroom, that I'm on? Okay, great. So it's new for everyone. That's good because that means everyone's on the same level to begin with. So what we will probably do, as I say,
We're going to be professionals, Adam, by the end of this.
yeah, you guys are going to be wizards.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
We got incredible students. We just don't have a huge Garden Clubs of America budget.
Well, that's okay. You guys can still be phenomenal students. But what we will do is we are going to, as I say, we're going to spend quite a bit of time, not today, because I want to, like, it's kind of sprinting before we can jog. And at the moment, we're kind of between walking and jogging. I need to get you to be Olympic sprinters, which we'll get to. But yeah, just put this on your radar that this is something that will probably come up if not next class, maybe in a future class. But please don't start downloading this. It's very easy to download the wrong one. There's lots of ones you can download. I'm purposely kind of pumping the brakes here because I don't want you to go down the rabbit hole without knowing how to use it properly. Because otherwise what happens is you end up doing things the way that it shouldn't be done, and then we have to clean up a whole mess. Okay. But yeah, great question. Kind of come back to the original question. If your iPhone is older than maybe 3 years old, you're going to notice a significant difference if you upgrade. And for a lot of you, if you've got a 14 or a 15 or even a 13 or a 12, like Apple give you a trade-in value. So if you don't need the phone, they'll give you a trade-in value. And depending on your preference, like I don't have the giant, like this is called the iPhone 17 Pro because it has all the cameras, because I like that and I need that because I'm a professional photographer. But my wife has like the giant one. Some people like that because it's the Pro Max. They use it like a computer. She works off her iPhone the entire time. Some people like there's a really cool little thin mini one they've just brought out, which also has an excellent camera in it. So a lot of it is personal preference on kind of weight, size, what you want, but know that they all have phenomenal cameras in them now, which is amazing. I think I shared this with you as the group at the beginning. I said when I used to teach iPhone lessons, photography lessons, even 5 years ago, it was like you had an amazing telephone that could take pretty good pictures. It's actually now the opposite. It's now an amazing camera that just has the byproduct that it can make a phone call at the same time. You think about how we use our iPhones, you probably take almost as many photos, if not more, than you use to make telephone calls. It's more of a camera than it has a mobile device. So, and I mean, obviously you do lots of things on your iPhone, but hopefully that makes sense. Anyone got any questions on that? Like iPhones, upgrading iPhones? But I would say that don't get hung up on the gear is not everything. A big part of what I believe in is teaching people to see better. And that you can do on any camera.
Adam, I have a question.
Yeah, go for it, Isabella.
I was at the class last week and I really did think I was concentrating, but I do not remember you showing us how to put raw.
I did, but I don't mind quickly showing everyone again.
So I've gone in and I've got, formats, and I don't know what to do from there.
Okay, read me out what you got, and then I'll use that to teach the rest of the. So hold on. Actually, sorry, Isabella. Before Isabella reads out what she's got, for any of you who don't see raw, you go settings, your main iPhone settings. I'll write this down so this time everyone's got it written down so they can go back. You go settings, you go camera. So you have to scroll quite far down to find your camera. And then under that, you have formats. And then Isabella, what do we see?
Well, I've got an iPhone 15 and I see high efficiency, which is ticked. I have most compatible. I have photo mode and resolution control.
Okay, click on resolution control.
Okay.
Well, for the sake of the class, tell everyone what you see.
I see. Well, I've turned on resolution control.
You've turned it on. Good. And I'm just going to go to my phone to make sure I'm giving you. So I've got the 17, which is a bit different.
So I now have high efficiency ticked, and I have resolution control open.
Okay. And do you have a mode there that says formats?
Nope.
Nothing that says formats that you can click on.
No. So the formats at the very top, it says formats. And under camera capture, it says high efficiency and most compatible.
On that formats, can you click on it?
Nope.
Where it says formats. No?
No. No, it's on the very top of my
I can't
screen.
see my phone, it's tiny, but I trust you. Have a on most people's iPhone, it's usually, again, let me take my blur off so you can see me. Hold on. And all of yours is going to be in a slight, I've got 14 or 15, depending on what operating system on. They're all going to be slightly different. But look, here's my camera settings. Get rid of the pink. Okay. Here's my camera settings. Okay, so camera control, hopefully you can see it. And you'll see there, now, see there, it says
Yeah.
formats.
Yeah, I don't have that.
In settings, are you in settings?
Settings, and then look, and then you go, and then you go here. This is where you are, and you
Yeah.
have high efficiency, most compatible,
Yes.
all these other ones, and then well, this is only for probably 16 and 17 up, but can you see here it says Pro, RAW, and Resolution Control? That's turned on.
I don't have that.
Do you have photo?
No, I have turned on resolution control.
That should be good. That should do the job.
Okay.
They just name it in a different way, but I'm going to show you on my phone just so you can go. So let me just go back so you can all see. So I go to the main settings of my phone. The main settings. So here's the main settings. I scroll down to camera.
Yeah.
Find camera, and then I click on it. And then here's all my things. And to get into RAW, I go formats.
Yep.
Leave this as high efficiency. Don't worry about that. And then you're going to have one of resolution control, Pro RAW resolution control. Some of them call it DNG resolution control.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that that is turned on.
Okay. Thank you.
And you should be.
And below that is the Pro RAW format. I have a 17.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Do we do anything with that?
Yeah, great question. So for that, do you remember I said 48 megapixel is like total overkill?
Right.
For what you need. So that takes you to that menu on the 17.
Right.
Those you on the 17. Check this one. It's got a funny name.
Bottom one. Okay.
JPEG XL Lossy.
Lossy.
But basically what that means is when your RAW is compressed to a JPEG, when you send it, it's going to keep the highest quality,
Okay.
but it's not going to make it ginormous.
Okay.
So because a big problem people have is they go on a trip, they take loads of pictures, and then Apple pings them a message and says your iCloud is full. Because they've taken 1,000 pictures in Japan, and they're raw. One other thing, actually, while we're here that I didn't show the group, but it's good, this was on my list to do today, is often if we know, so by default, when you go to your camera and you go to take a picture, okay, so here's my camera, and you go to take a picture, for most, so you can see there, I've got HE, I don't have RAW. Why is it so blurry?
Oh yeah, HEIC 24.
Adam, I can't really see your phone at all because you're so tiny on my screen.
How's that? I should have done that before.
That's better.
Much better. Sorry, I forgot that I was sharing my screen. So up here, okay, so I'm going to take a picture. For some of you, this is going to say RAW. For some of you, it's going to say HEIC. For some of you, it's going to say DNG. For some of you, you're not going to see anything up there if you haven't turned it on properly. But even if you've got an iPhone 12, you can turn this on. You just got to go to the right place. Now you can see mine by default doesn't have a line through it. All of yours is going to have by default a line. Most of yours, and I've actually just changed mine just so it says RAW, so you can see. There we go, up there. It has a line. Now the reason it has a line is because Apple knows that maybe 50% of the pictures that you take with your iPhone, you don't need them 4 times the size of the normal picture, because for every 1 RAW you're taking, that's like taking 4 JPEGs. And over time, that quickly compounds. You take 100, you've all of a sudden taken 400. You take 1,000, you've all of a sudden taken 4,000. So by default, they keep it off. But a problem that a lot of students I have experienced is they will go out, CAS organizes a trip for you all to go to the Bixby Bridge and take some pictures. And you all take the first few pictures on RAW, and then one of you gets a phone call, or one of you's checking your email, or one of you gets a text, and you do something else with your phone, and then you come back to the camera, and the RAW has a line through it again. Because Apple, by default, will keep on turning it off to stop you taking the huge pictures.
Okay.
That makes sense. But
Thank you, Apple, because that's nice.
Well, it's nice, but it's also not nice.
Well,
because
for people to remember.
But the problem is, Cass, is that if you don't remember to keep on turning it back on, you think it's on because you've taken 4 pictures of the Bixby Bridge and then you've taken a phone call, and then you come back on, you're taking a few more pictures, and those are all JPEG. It's reset it, which is not a good thing. And people forget to keep on going and turn the line, or like keep on clicking on the line every time they come out their camera and come into their camera. It defaults back to, I'm not shooting in a RAW, I'm shooting in a JPEG. So my recommendation that I usually say to people is, if you know you are going out, like you're going on vacation, you're going on a safari, you're going out with the garden club to take pictures, you're going to do something where you know this is not, I'm just taking pictures of some receipts, I'm scanning some letters, I'm doing stuff that I just don't need a raw file for, then actually if you go back into the settings on your camera, so this I would do, like if I was with you all now and I was saying, right, we're going to go out for 4 hours and we're going to go out and take some pictures of the coast. What I'm about to show you, I would get you to do before we left. And that's if you go back to the settings and you go back to camera. So you go back to camera, here's your camera settings. And you scroll down and there should be something for all of you that says preserve settings.
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to click on that. Okay. And then tons of things are going to come up. And again, I may have more than you because I've got the 17, but you're going to have some things on here. You want to look for the one that says, again, my wording may be slightly different to yours, but you're looking for something that says raw resolution control or pro raw resolution control or DNG resolution control. If you turn that on, and it actually tells you above it, it says, or below it, it says preserve the raw and resolution setting rather than automatically resetting it. So what that does, if it's turned on, and then you've hit the line and said, I want to shoot in RAW, even if you come out your iPhone, take a phone call, do a text, send an email, when you go back to your camera, it's going to keep on RAW, which is really, really helpful to do if you're going, hold on, Isabella, one sec. If you're going on a trip, if you're going out specifically for the sake of taking pictures.
Okay.
That makes
So
sense?
if we're not, Adam, if we're not going to, I mean, I'm not planning on taking any pictures.
Yeah.
Right, say today. So should that setting be turned off?
Correct. Yeah.
Because you don't want it to be raw all the time.
Exactly. Well, it's flipping it the inverse. So Apple by default has it JPEG the whole time. You have to remember to turn it on RAW. If you hit that preserve setting, it does the opposite. By default, it's RAW, and you have to remember to turn it on to JPEG, which for most of the time, Julie, you don't need to be taking a RAW file. So I'm just showing that to you and make a note of it, everyone, and you've got the recording. But I would just say that if you know you're going, if I was going on vacation for 3 days to, I don't know, if I was going up to Mendocino to take pictures and I was strictly doing it with my iPhone, I would click that before I went on holiday.
Okay.
Because then I don't have to remember. It just takes out all the guesswork. And then when I come home, and I just turn it off again.
Okay. I have one more question. When we went back to the Pro RAW and resolution control, I have that now turned on.
Good.
Underneath it, it says Pro Default, Pro RAW Max. Should that be on as well?
Good question. So you again have a more recent iPhone than some people in the group. So what have you got, the 16 or the 17?
This is a 15.
15, yeah. 15, 16, 17. It's the last 3 years. Keep that on. It's just giving you a better quality RAW. Don't worry about it. It's just
it says Pro RAW Max up to 48 MP. That's the setting it's on right now. And leave it there.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, I'm good. Thank you.
Isabella had a question.
So I went in and I can see the resolution control.
Yeah.
Looking at that screen, I've also got live photo on and portrait zoom on.
Good question. Excellent question. Does anyone know what this is another thing on my list for today? So you've naturally led me into it, Isabella. Does anyone know have any of you ever seen when you take a picture and it says live on?
Yes.
Live on, live.
Yes.
Does anyone know what that is?
Yes.
Means there's movement.
Kind of.
A bunch of pictures at once.
You got it.
Yeah.
That's the key. So what it does is it takes, without you realizing, it takes between 20 and 30 pictures. Like it's faster than I can move my hand. And then it kind of blends them together. You've seen, like, if you review them, like I kind of move like this. So you'll see it looks like a very short video.
Now, waste the battery.
It's a waste of battery. Well, there's really only one reason to use it. Most of the time we turn that off. And again, what Isabella is referring to in the preserve settings menu is, do I want it by default on, or do I want it by default off? I would highly recommend that you want it by default off.
Okay.
Because otherwise, and some of you may experience this, you go out, you take some pictures of family and friends, and you come back and you review them, and everyone's like a little short movie.
Yeah.
It's annoying. The reason, though, that we do use it, and I can't recreate this. In fact, I'll show it to you, but it's hard because none of you are around anything that's moving. But if you go to the camera, and again, most of you, not those of you who are on a 17, but everyone else, you're going to have like a little circle for live view that you're going to see on the top. And it's either going to have a line through it, or it's not going to have a line through it. If it has a line through it, it's turned off. If it doesn't have a line through it, it's turned on. Okay. Do me a favor, just take the line off it and turn it on. Okay. And this is going to seem really weird when I'm about to show you, but I want you to take a picture and I just want you to move your hand really quickly. Point at a bookshelf, point at something, move your hand really quickly and take a picture as your hand's moving. Takes a bit of practice. So it's like boom, 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 like take it while, don't move it, and then take it. Wiggle your hand pretty fast and take a picture. I'm getting you to do something here. I'll actually share my screen for a sec. I'm getting you to just do something here that GCA lean a lot into. Let me just get up a new tab here, which is something called, and again, I'm not going to dwell on it too much. You may have seen it. There's something called intentional camera movement. You get pictures like this where you see movement. Now, most of the time, this is traditionally done with a traditional camera using something called a slow shutter speed. It shows a period of time. But the live mode on the iPhone is a cheat that allows you to use this technique, which is great. Again, this has like only been around the last 2 years. You couldn't do it beforehand. If you move your hand, and all they've done in this photo is they've moved their hand left to right really quickly, and they've taken the picture. In this one with the trees, they've just moved their hand up and down really fast. You're seeing the movement of your hand. You've got to move it pretty fast, Julie, not just a wiggle. You've got to like move don't move your wrists, you move your hands, like move your arms. Good workout for everyone. So we can kind of go up and down, we can go you can draw a shape. I don't care. The key is that you take the picture while your camera is moving.
With the live on.
That takes coordination, Adam.
With the live on. With the live on. So everyone try and everyone try and do it with the live on, and don't.
Mine didn't turn out.
No one's judging. No, nothing. It's going to look weird at the beginning. You're not going to see movement like this. But just do me a favor. Take 3 or 4 pictures in live mode, moving your hand like this, and try and point at something maybe colorful in your room.
Oh, I see. I had it. How did I have it on?
Try and don't point it at the ceiling. Point it at like some books or a desk or a table or anything. You can even point it at me. It doesn't matter. But just something with some color.
Okay.
Adam, I'm sorry, but it keeps focusing.
Yeah, that's okay. Don't worry.
Makes it focus.
Let me know when everyone thinks they've taken a picture.
Okay.
Because then I'm going to show you what to do. Okay, now we're going to review the picture you took. So we're going to go to the little square. So I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to do it on my phone, so we're all doing it together. So I'm going to turn. And by the way, if you've got a 17, and this is only for those who are the 17, to get to live view, you have to hit the little grid up here, the little squares. If I can try and do it upside down, sorry. And then here you turn on live. You can see it there.
Yeah.
But for most of you, it's at the top. So I'm gonna do this at the same time as you guys. We're gonna all do it together. So you can watch me do one. So I'm gonna turn on live view. See, it says live, and then I'm just literally, what should I take a picture of? I'll just take a picture of the computer screen actually. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move my hand and I'm gonna go like this, and I'm gonna take a picture. Okay, and I'm gonna do 3 of them.
So you're holding a photo at the time.
I'm taking a photo as I'm moving. It's called.
That took a lot of coordination to get that blue.
Yeah. But at the moment, when you look at the picture, it's going to look pretty sharp. It's not going to look like blurry and weird,
Yeah. Mine's blurry.
It may be a bit blurry, but hold on. But I want you to, review the photo that you've taken, and at the top, you're going to see a word that says live. As long as you were in live view. Okay?
Yeah.
I want you to click on that. And there's
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you hit for that, Adam? I'm sorry.
okay. So
To get there.
So I took my picture. So I'm taking my
Yes,
picture.
correct.
Then you just come down to review your pictures, like how you like down on the bottom left-hand corner. So these are like all my pictures all my pictures that I just took of my computer screen. And then on the top,
it says live.
it says live.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you're going to click on that. And again, depending on the iPhone you have, you're going to get a few different options. But most of you are going to have these ones that say loop, bounce, long exposure. Okay?
Yeah.
We'll look at them all while we're here. Hit loop and watch what happens. And you're going to see like a little video of it, just of the movement of your hand.
Busy.
God, that looks like a bad Saturday night.
Yeah. Then hit loop again and hit bounce. And it's going to do the same. It's just going to go the other way. So it just like bounces rather than loop bounce, it bounces it. I'm showing it to you just so you know it is. The one I want to show to you, but straight away is me basically making your iPhone a $3,000 camera, is the last one if you hit long exposure. And what that should do, look how I've got that blur now.
Yeah.
Is that recreates using a slow shutter speed.
Okay.
This is now, you can do this with moving your hands. And maybe I'll talk about intentional camera movement in a minute in a bit more detail. You can also use it though, if you're at a waterfall, and if ever you've seen pictures of like waterfalls looking like this, if you take the picture in live mode, if I was standing here and I took this picture in live mode, oops, that's what it would look like normally when you took the picture. Okay, if I took it in live mode and then I went to the top and I put long exposure, it would blend all those 20 and 30 pictures that it takes together to create what looks like a slow shutter speed.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Because we can, it's a creative technique that's all relevant to movement. It's either capturing movement in front of you or this intentional camera. I mean, let's do the beach because you guys all live relatively close to the beach. So this is a really fun technique that you guys can play with. And it's just taking a picture and moving your hand at the same time. You'll often hear it referred to, GCA often call it ICM, intentional camera movement. It means that you have moved the camera on purpose when you've taken your picture to create a specific effect. Most of the time, this is going to be one of your homeworks. This is going to be a good homework for you guys to practice. Most of the time when we're photographing landscapes and beach, most people, they go horizontal. They go like this. But this person, all they've done is they've gone like this and taken a picture. And they've straight away got something that looks like a piece of art. Very fine art, very artistic. The more you move your hand, the quicker you move your hand, the more abstract it becomes.
Wow.
We're going to have flying iPhones.
Say that again?
We're going to have flying iPhones.
Flying iPhone. Yeah, try not to hit anyone on the beach. But this takes some, but when you get good at it and you practice, it's an amazing technique. And this school there are some photographers, this is all they do. The reason they love ICM, intentional camera movement, is one, you can never create the same photo twice.
Yeah.
Every photo you take is completely authentic, unique, original. Even if I was standing at this beach and I took this 10 times, my hand is going to move at a different speed slightly the whole time. The ocean is going to move different. Every picture is going to look slightly different. It works amazing when you have lots of colors in your image. Like a sunset is a great time like here, it's a great time to practice intentional camera movement. You can see the movement here in the clouds. Like this is just left to right, left to right. But you can only do this with live mode turned on. If you take a normal picture and then you go to review it, you can't make it look like this. And I'm going to come back to kind of Isabella's question about the set. Hold on, Isabella, one sec. Isabella's question in a second. In fact,
But you said with live mode turned off, you can only do it.
No,
on.
live mode turned
On.
on.
Yeah, okay.
On.
Yeah, that's what I thought you'd want.
Okay, but remember, we don't want live mode on the whole time.
Right.
Because otherwise, every picture that we take is going to look like, I always compare it to people, you know, those, they used to, in England at least, they used to come in like cereal boxes, those little flick books that like flick through, and it'd be like a mini animation of like Mickey Mouse, like picking something up or whatever it is. That's what your photos end up looking like. And you don't want that. It's annoying. It takes up space, like it eats your battery. But if you, which is if you go to where we just were and you go back to the settings and you go back to the camera and you come back to this preserve settings mode, you want the one for live photo turned on. And you can see mine there. I'm going to try and read backwards, but it says preserve the live photo. What does it say? Preserve the live photo setting rather than automatically reset to live photo on. So that means if you have it kept off, it will stay off. But if you have it kept on, it will stay on. You can make the conscious decision to flip it backwards. Otherwise, Apple often will turn it on when you don't want it on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I'm sure a lot of you experienced that before.
Yeah, very frustrating.
So two things that you guys can easily practice with this is if you're anywhere with a body of water, like this is this used to be, we couldn't do this on an iPhone. Now it's very accessible and you can get really cool pictures that are abstract, unique, artistic, just by moving your hand and having live view. So that kind of the steps are turn live view on, swing your hands around like a maniac. You can figure out how quickly or slowly you have to go. Review the picture, hit on live at the top, and choose long exposure. Everyone got that? And what's cool is you see it used on beaches, but like let's look at trees. So most people, when they use this and they're in a forest or they're in a park, they want to make the feeling of growth. So instead of going left to right, usually when we photograph trees and flowers, like and gardens, a lot of the time people will move their camera up and down like this because the lines grow up. It makes us feel like you see some like really, especially there's a nice full color one, but it gives the feeling of this one, they've moved their hand really quickly. So the faster you move your hand, and often people do this with their wrists. Don't do it with your wrists like this. You've really got to, it's a bit of a workout. You've got to move your arm. You've got to go up, down, and you've got to go relatively fast. If you go really fast, it's going to look like this one I have on screen here. The faster you go, the more abstract it's going to be.
So Adam, I have a question about this. The photo I took to send you today, I took live because I was at the beach and the waves were moving.
Yeah.
But it would not allow me to send it to you in live.
Yeah, no, you can't send it to me in live, but you can't, because what the Apple thinks you're trying to do is send me those 20 to 30 pictures. So I don't see, you can think of live like taking a mini video. If you don't go and do the extra thing that I just told you, where you review it, you click on it and you change it to long exposure, it's just basically a short video. It's like a 2-second video. But what you could have done, Sally, is and now you know, is you could go back to the beach, take it on live. You can even actually go back to the pictures maybe you took if they were on live. And on the top left-hand corner, you'll see it will say live. You click on it, you hit long exposure and watch what happens to the waves. They're going to all go soft and silky. Then you can send that.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So for I'm just giving you ideas here for trees, for forests, for even if you go into your backyard, this works amazingly. I see people do fun things with this just with like the spines of books because they have lots of different colors to them. You need some color and you see some texture and you need some line for it to work well. But like, let's look at it for flowers. So here's people using it in floral photography. This is just the movement of someone's hand. In this case, they've just gone in a circle. They haven't gone left to right. They haven't gone up and down. They've just gone in a circle. This one, they've just gone left to right. So you can create, now these ones are taken, they look like more in a studio setting, but even like that's taken outside. All that is they're just kind of drawing a circle with their iPhone and then they take a picture. And usually I say to people, the easiest way to do it, depending if you're right-handed or left-handed, is kind of have your thumb. You can either do it with your thumb, so your thumb is over the button that you're going to take a picture. So let me go around this way. So my thumb is, so I'm moving and then I just click as I'm moving. So I just tap as I'm moving, tap as I'm moving. But for a lot of you, depending on what iPhone you have a button up here, your increase volume button, that lets you take pictures. This one here.
Ah.
So that makes life a million times easier because you can wave your phone around and just touch this button and it will take your picture. Again, don't be afraid to go in landscape for this, especially if you're on the beach, like this movement. And then all I'm going to do is press this button. All your iPhones, this increase volume button allows you to take a picture. It's trying to make this more like a real camera. So I would go like this and I would press as I'm moving. Press, press, press.
Wow.
Okay. And this is, have any of you ever seen pictures like this before?
No.
Yes. So some of you may have seen it, but this is, as I say, I could teach 10 classes just on ICM, on intentional camera movement. It's a huge school of photography.
Adam, I have a question.
Hey, Susan.
It keeps turning them into videos.
Okay. So when you look at the photo and you go onto live, make sure you're not hitting loop or bounce. Make sure
Okay.
you're hitting the one that says long exposure. Otherwise, it's going to turn them into videos.
Thank you.
No problem. Do you know what? For the benefit of everyone in the group, and I know there's some people who are going to be listening on the recording, I'm gonna do a little thing that you can all take a picture of how to get ICM. So that means intentional camera movement on iPhone. Okay. Number one is you're going to turn live on. And the live on looks like these circles. Most of you, that's on the top right-hand corner of your camera. Only for those of you who have the iPhone 17, you have to click on the little grid and then you see it as an option. But you have to have it on, otherwise this doesn't work. Two is you're then going to find something colorful or with interesting lines. Like that's why loads of people love practicing this at the ocean or at the beach because there's so many interesting lines. And you're gonna move your phone one of three ways. You're gonna move it left to right. So as in horizontally, left. Sorry about my writing. Left to right. That's great for beaches. It's great for, you see it taking the whole time. B is you're going to move it up and down. What did I say that was great for? Anyone remember?
Trees.
Trees. You got it. So
Linear.
that's great for trees because I see so many full color pictures. Don't worry about all my writing here for a second. Full color ICM. So you'll see that people use this the whole time to emphasize full color. Like some of these are just literally people just waving their hands around. That's all they're doing. But most people are doing this. The advantage for you guys, don't tell anyone, but most people are doing these on like a $3,000 to $5,000 camera. You can now do it on your iPhone.
Yay.
Which is really cool. So here's a good tree growing one. Like that's just up to down. And you'll be amazed at how easy this is. Once you get it and you play with it, it's very easy to get this blurred look.
Oh, gorgeous.
That's up and down again. Just gives a feeling is that you see it used again and again with trees. And the only difference between like this one and this one is, what do we think, Iris? Is the person's hand moving faster or slower in this one compared
Well, I would say faster.
Yeah, exactly. So the faster you move your hand, the more abstract a thing you create. Okay, so if I come back to my notes, okay, let's bring my notes back on the screen. So the third one that I'd want you to practice is, you can kind of draw any shape you want, but usually people go in some type of like circular motion. And that's great for flowers. Okay, so you're going to turn live on. You're going to look for something colorful or with lines. And this literally, you can do this in your kitchen and create interesting pictures. You're then going to move the iPhone left, right, up and down, or a circular motion. Then the next step is you're going to review the photo. And on the top left, you're going to see the word live.
Right. Yeah.
It's a bit people forget to do. They take it and then they look at it and they're like, why doesn't it look all blurry and intentional camera movement? Because you have to do this, otherwise you're not telling the iPhone what the iPhone is essentially doing, because it's taking those 20 pictures, is it's kind of merging them, it's blending them all together for you, which gives the appearance of the same thing with a real camera, of doing a slow shutter speed. So we click on live and there's a few options, and we're always going to choose the one that says long exposure. And that's it. And what's really cool is you can turn on long exposure. You can decide you don't like it, and then you can put it back to normal if you want. But I wouldn't want you taking every one of your photos in live. The other thing I should tell you that, again, depending which iPhone you have, but anything older than it's actually only on the new iPhone. So for most of you, anything on 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, when you shoot as a live photo, Apple doesn't let you shoot it in RAW. Don't worry about it. It's just one of those things that they just haven't quite figured out how to do yet.
Okay.
So don't be alarmed if you don't see that it's RAW when you're in live mode, because live mode will default you back to a JPEG. And it's because it's taking so many pictures really quickly, and the iPhone just doesn't have the brain to take 20 RAW pictures, 4 times the size, but it has the brain to take 20 JPEGs. And then, so this is kind of one use case of how you would use this to create this intentional camera movement. But another great use case of this, everyone got this, by the way, take a picture, write it down, make sure you got it before I disappear. I'll leave it on the screen for maybe a minute or so, just to make sure everyone's got it down. Sorry, it's become a bit of a messy diagram, but everyone in my family is medical. I have doctor's handwriting. I scribble a bit, but hopefully you can see what I'm writing. Okay, everyone good for me to take that away?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and feel free to take a picture of it. And you guys have got the recording to go back and look at this. So the second reason to use live mode. So the first one is ICM. The second reason that can look really cool is when you want to create what we call in photography motion blur. Now that can be like soft, silky waterfalls. If you take, because during that time where those 20 pictures have been taken, the water is flowing over like the edge of the rock. When you blend that together, it's going to give you that look that I showed you on those other waterfall photos 5 minutes ago. Another option for this is lots of people use this for animals. I'll show you an example in a minute. So this can be animals, this can be pets, this can be wildlife. Cass, I'm thinking of you here with your horses. This is a fun technique that you can practice. And then the third one is with cars. And that ties into something that we call traffic. Now, I know I'm throwing loads of stuff at you guys, so just stick with me here. Traffic trails. So waterfalls or any, this really is any water, because water is always moving. Animals and cars. Okay? And what that looks like in real life is, in this case, is you don't have to move your hand because your subject is moving. All you have to do is point at it and shoot it in live. And then when you put long exposure, the horse looks like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you straight away get that feeling of movement. So these look very difficult photos to take, but they're actually not. It's just understanding the technique and what you need to do. So all I've done here is I've turned live photo on. The horse is galloping through the field, and I've just taken a picture of it with live photo on. What that's basically done is created as like a short movie of the horse.
Yeah.
And then when we go to the top and we go live, long exposure, it blends it together and it ends up looking like this. It's really cool. It's a great technique. And I can do, and for those of you who like animals or ever go on safari or like go to the zoo, like you see that I'll just go like cheetah. So you see this done again and again and again and again. And the cool thing is you can take this 20 times and it's going to look different every time, depending on how fast the cheetah is moving, how fast you're moving. So you can do some really cool things. So that's when and even like closer to home for those of you, let's just try dog. Okay. So you can practice this with your dog. Like here's a dog running. Like here's a really abstract one. There they've moved their hands. I don't particularly like it, but here, even like, look how creative like that is. That's intentional camera movement. The dog's not moving. They've just moved their hand. But my job, right? Like I said right at the beginning when we first started as a group, my job is to A, not make you all a clone of me, and B, make you so your photos stand out from the crowd. What I'm teaching you here are certain techniques that straight away make people look at your photos and go, "Ooh, wow, that's interesting." Rather than, remember, I'm moving you away from being a point and shooter. The third one, so I said water, animals, and the last one I said is this thing called traffic trails or cars. And this you really need to do at night for it to be really effective. But you can start to see stuff like this, where it's blending together the photos. And essentially what we are doing, look at the S curve here. Look at what type of leading line is that and that one?
Vanishing.
Good. So now we know these things. You're going to see S curves come up. There's another S curve. Here's an S curve at the Golden Gate Bridge. That's just a car going past.
Oh, wow.
But what
So you're not moving, you're just
you're
putting it
no,
on live
you're
and then
you're
long exposure.
exactly. You're not
Yeah.
moving. The car's moving. It's the opposite of intentional camera movement. Is you
Yeah.
taking a picture of something and you moving.
Right.
This is you're letting your subject do the movement.
Right. Okay, perfect.
Make sense?
Yeah. Oh, now you created a monster. I love this.
Well, this is but when one thing I'll say for all of these type of pictures, ideally you want to have a tripod for your camera. Because otherwise what happens, like if you look in like even this picture is very simple, but the building here is sharp because the building hasn't moved in those, but when it's whereas the cars have all moved. Now, if you move at the same time when you're taking this, you're going to see your movement plus the movement of the cars, which ideally we don't want to see.
Yeah.
So it's really important to rest your camera on something or keep it still. And you'll see tons of these use vanishing points. And so these are very, very, and you can practice this like you can you don't have to be on a highway. The cars don't have to be going 100 miles an hour. They can be going 10 miles an hour and you'll get this picture. And the cool thing, as I say, that people really love once they get into this school of photography is they love the fact they can't create the same thing twice. It's like a big selling point. So you could all be standing at the same garden, on the same bridge, on the same boardwalk, taking a picture of the cars going past, and every one of your pictures is going to look different. Now, when we do all of these things, we don't throw any of our rules out the window. Like here, look, this isn't particularly, oh, I'll go to this one. So here, look, low perspective. That's the ants eye perspective with a vanishing point. They've just added in the technical layer. Now, there's some things wrong with this, the really bright thing over here. And like, look how cool this one is. That one, you're moving and the traffic's moving. Same here. Tunnels are really good. Trains, for any of you who travel and there's a train going past, anything that's moving you can start creating really interesting. Look at the vanishing points and the symmetry in this one. Look at the strong the line on this one. I could show you these all day, but the key is that, but I'm going to run out of time to show you your pictures. So let me kind of tie this all up. So we got into this conversation, and remember I said I wanted to show you some new things on the iPhone. This was one of my things that's on my list, so it's good we covered this. So essentially what we are doing is, when we're going to Yosemite, when we're going to Tahoe and we want to take a picture, we want to make sure that we're on RAW. That's the first thing. The second thing is that whenever we identify that we either want to create movement in our scene, that's intentional camera movement, that's the moving of your hand, or we want to show movement, that's you keeping still but the car's going past you, you keeping still but the waterfall running, we can still use live mode, blend all those pictures together to create a long exposure, and you're going to get really interesting artistic pictures. Okay? Anyone got any questions on that? Hold on, Judy, did you have a question? I think you're on mute.
No, I was just saying it's a lot of information, a lot to
work. It is a lot of information. It's a lot of information. That's why I said and that's why you've got the recording. Go back, take a look, take your time. But this is something, again, like, don't be discouraged if you try to do it once, twice, 5 times and it doesn't come out how you want it. Remember my 4 Ps: practice, patience, perseverance, perspective. This you need to practice, you need to play with. Some people will find out they love doing intentional camera movement and they only ever go left to right. They love how it looks. Some other people may love drawing circles around roses and tulips, flowers. Some people may love up and down. Some people don't like any of it, and that's okay. There's no rules in photography. It's finding what resonates with you. We can only do that through experimentation. Okay? So actually, even before I jump into all of your photos, because I'm going to zip through many of them now, I'm going to give you guys the homework now.
Oh.
So the homework is going to be, I'm going to call it, I'm just going to give it a broad term. The homework is going to be long exposures. And that can be 1, intentional camera movement, and you can do both. And this can be 2, showing movement. And this is me, like, really starting to unleash the creativity of your iPhones. Especially when you know how to use it properly. Okay. That makes sense. Julie, go for it.
I'm sorry, and we may not cover it today, but when you were showing those pictures of it was at night.
Yeah.
I have not mastered the night mode or whatever on the camera. We don't have to go into it today, but I'm noticing, because a lot of them are taken at night, so you see the lights. I don't know if there is something on night mode or something you need to turn on to really show that.
Absolutely nothing at the moment.
No, okay.
As we get more advanced as a group, essentially, you can think of an iPhone like an onion, and we're like slowly peeling back more of these layers of the onion. Eventually, not now, not today, probably not next time, probably not the next time afterwards, but eventually I'd love, and what I usually do is I move groups like you guys who are like complete beginners to eventually we're controlling our iPhones as if it's a camera like this.
Yeah.
You're really taking it over manual control. And even the night mode, Julie, is kind of Apple's automatic way of shooting at night, which isn't very good. When I teach you how to change certain things, which would be way too overwhelming for me to teach today with everything else we've learned, but it's a good thing to put on our list of things to do, and we'll get there. But
yeah, night is just something they just don't ever look very good.
Yeah, okay. And for this technique, you don't need it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
But you need cars coming past you. If you just take a picture of an empty road,
right,
it's going to look bad. So you gotta have some type of light going past you for it to work.
Okay, thank you.
And you got to be on live mode. Anyone else got any questions? Okay, homework clear for everyone? Good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's take a breath, come away from technical camera settings. You can kind of lie back, relax. Let's spend half an hour or so looking at everyone's pictures to come back to fill the frame and see how we all did. Okay? So first up,
Beautiful.
really good. Look at the rule of thirds here. Like almost smack back on the nodal point. We get straight drawn into this kid's eyes. Interesting. Well, whoever took this, well done for putting it on. I'll show you on a diagonal. Look at this. Generally, when we have two subjects in a thing, it works best. They feel very balanced when they lie along a diagonal line. We see this a lot without really thinking. But you've rotated it, or you've taken it at a slight angle, so you really get sucked into the kid's eyes. Now, if I'm being hypercritical, because that's my job, I probably in this case would say that the background is a little bit too close in color and texture to the skin. Down here on the bottom left, I'd almost want it to be like something different. Now, that was probably beyond your control. Or I think about just removing it. Don't worry if some of these photos look a bit fuzzy, but you could almost here just go on like this is a fill the frame picture, just on one eye. Like it's going to look super fuzzy, but hold on, let me get it looking better. I don't know. That's really abstract. That's like looks like a Dali painting, right? It's like totally like can't really tell what it is. It's a different type of thing, but it just shows you what you can create. But I think this is well focused. Nice and sharp. Who took this one? Nice job, Judy. Very good. Excellent. How old is the little boy that you've taken a picture of?
I think he was about 11 at the time or 12.
Okay, so he's a bit more cooperative than trying to take a picture of like a 3 or a 4-year-old, which is harder. And that's when learning to focus comes in even better. But nice job. Let's look at this one.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful lighting in this one. Lovely dynamic range. Where do we think, who have I not spoken to today? Let's ask Marietta. Hey, Marietta. Where do we think the lighting is coming from in this picture?
I would say 3 o'clock.
Good. You got it. Like I'd probably say about 3:30, but it's coming from, ideally it's coming from the side and it's coming from behind the photographer. That's why I say tomatoes, you say tomatoes. That's why these look so vivid. Now, is this a fill the frame picture? Yes, absolutely. But I think again, like we could go much closer in here if we needed to, and we could make it more kind of a storytelling picture, and maybe we just bring it to like that. And we make the sign kind of the focal point. Sometimes, like if you don't show all of the tomatoes, it looks like there could be 5, but it also looks like they could be 500. You've got no idea of the scale of this. Now, again, I probably don't like the empty space on the bottom right-hand corner. I closed it in a bit, even maybe the cardboard box at the top, kind of a bit. But well done who took this really nice. And don't be afraid as well on these ones. Like here, you could have just gone rid. You could have said, I don't even like that sign. And I'm just going to focus on the ones up here. What type of leading line have we got here, Elaine, running through this picture?
Diagonal.
Yeah, well, let's go further than that. What's this shape?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you can see that's straight away creating the light, the vibrancy has created a really interesting abstract photo. Who took this one, please?
I did. Iris.
Iris, great job. Very, very nice. Where are you? In a farmer's market somewhere?
Yeah, in Carmel.
Beautiful. Yeah, very, very good. Nice job. Let's look at this one. It's a great fill the frame photo. Perfect example of not having to show the entire succulent or whatever this. Look, what always amazes me with this is the quality of the iPhone. I don't know if you guys can see this over Zoom, but can you see the little spider web there?
Mm-hmm.
Glistening in the light. So the iPhone is amazing at adept at picking up on this. Now, whoever took this, and feel free to shout out your name.
Karen.
Karen, nice job. Karen's focus is primarily here, okay? Which is not a bad thing. You can see how sharp that is. But one thing I think that we need to think about when we create a picture like this is if that is the focal point, that is taking me out the frame. Now this one's kind of taking me in down here, but I get a bit lost here in there. And this is just a focusing thing. You just got to play with the focus. But I would either you could recrop this. So like you get taken out the frame like that. I think that's a stronger crop with the focus that you have. Or you could have taken a cut, which you may have done. You could have done it in landscape and kind of gone this way. Like that straight away looks really interesting because we get taken straight to this kind of sharp point and the veins. And I also would have been interesting, Karen, for you to try to take this where the focus was on this middle one. That's just playing around with the tap and hold that we know where the focus was in here.
Good.
But this is really good, really, really good in terms of coming close, filling the frame, not showing the. I'm going to be a GCA judge for a minute here because I know what some GCA judges would be so nitpicky they would pick you up on that.
What?
Because they
Well,
always
it's between like a first and a second. They got to find something.
That's the point. Unfortunately, and that's kind of my job as well. I always have to say something constructive to help you take the picture better. But one thing I'll say is again, that's so minor. But just whenever you take your pictures, and sometimes it's much worse than this, just keep an eye on the edges of your frame for anything that is distracting. And usually the distracting thing is something very bright on the edges that's taking your attention away from the main focus.
I think some judges may not like the spider web.
Yeah, I actually think it kind of gives some balance.
Well,
especially maybe not here, but I think when I cropped it like to this, I think it helps drive everything to that point. Kind of you'll see like you're coming here and you're coming here and you're going straight to our nodal point.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I hear you, but I don't think, to me, that wouldn't bother me. I actually think also how it's catching the light is very nice. But nice job, Karen. Very, very good. Look at this one.
Look at this one.
Really interesting. Looks like a mud cave or something that you're in. Whose is this one? I'm intrigued to know where this is.
It's the basement of the Biltmore Hotel. They have a tunnel, and I just thought that wall was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. We've got strong diagonal lines running through it. This would be great for texture, but really good for fill the frame. Again, Judy, just watch out. See that top left-hand corner, how it's getting a bit bright there? That's where if a GCA judge was in a bad mood, they'd ding you.
Yeah. But I had already cut out some of the light on that wall, but I guess I could do more.
Yeah, you could do more. But I think this, like a wall like this, I could spend 10 minutes on this, playing with it, rotating it, making it look abstract. I mean, there's loads of things that you can do. Like you can come down here to this and really emphasize the line growing up through the picture. All of these are examples. A really good trick would fill the frame is to tilt your camera slightly. Especially if you're taking pictures of something with strong lines and some texture, because it makes your frame feel like it's got more energy. But good focus.
It's hard when you're on a tour.
Yeah, it's hard when you're, but it's a lot easier when you're on a tour with an iPhone than some people teach you have 7 lenses, 2 cameras, a tripod, and you're getting sped along. It's also sometimes hard when you're with friends and spouses and things who have no interest in taking pictures.
Your children,
Yeah. But good job here, Judy, on kind of highlighting the wall. Look at this one. This one's great. I love the perspective.
Love it.
This is all about the fact that we're shooting down on the swan. Great light, great color. Again, is this a fill the frame picture? Loosely, probably not. but I would take some of this out here just a little bit, because again, what's happening now is look at this pretty like reflection, kind of almost looks like the branches of a tree, and look where they're pointing you. They're bringing you straight down to the swan's head. And the swan is kind of looking like everything's talking to each other. Everything feels balanced. This is bringing you in. This is a frame bringing you in. I think whoever took this, are you standing on a bridge looking down?
Yeah, on a little jetty.
On a little jetty, yeah. The color of the water and everything is stunning. What time of day did you take this, Iris?
Oh, I can't remember, and it's somewhere in the Alps. And all these things you talk about, I didn't plan it. This I just pointed and shot. Now I see much more.
Sometimes there's a famous street photographer called Henri Cartier-Bresson who talks about this thing in photography called the decisive moment, which is basically the time where all this stuff comes together, sometimes by chance, and then you take the picture. But Iris, you're not giving yourself enough credit here, because you saw it and you snapped it. But because I'm telling you, because of the stuff that we've learned, that's sitting at the back here somewhere, the way that you positioned everything without necessarily thinking too hard about it, you put the swan on the bottom right-hand corner. Most people who've never had a photography lesson, this swan would be like this. It would be smack bang in the middle. That's how 99% of people who would take this picture. So you saw it and you shot it very quickly, but some of that subconscious good composition. And remember, I use the analogy or the metaphor of driving a car as you become a better photographer. When you all first got your license, if you ever drove in a car and someone said to you, push the gas, check the mirror, do the indicators, like you're like, oh my God, this is too much to think about. Don't even think about it after you've driven for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. Same is true as photography. The seeing bit becomes easier and easier and easier, and then you can focus more on the technical. But this is fantastic for perspective. Filling the frame loose, but I'll let you off because it's such a good picture. And the light and the color are great. So nice job. Look at this one. This one's really interesting. Love the juxtaposition of the texture of what I think is a mushroom and the rocks. Great use of great. Is this yours, Isabella?
Yes, and it's a tree.
Oh, it's a tree. Interesting. So is it like fungi growing on a tree?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Isabella, very nice job on getting your focus, much better than last week. Really good, nice, sharp use of focus, right on where we want it to go, right here, and then blurring off the bokeh in the background. You all know that word now. I think, again, if I'm thinking about perhaps how else we could have, I think we could have maybe moved it up just a little bit. I don't know whether we would have needed that. I also would have been really tempted to take this picture, landscape, and have the juxtaposition and even maybe tilt it. I'm not going to have quite enough rock here to work with, but kind of tilt it so you feel more of a sweep coming in. Please don't be afraid to experiment. Everyone now just takes pictures like this. Don't forget that you can take things landscape as well. I'm not saying this is better or worse, but here you really see the focus that Isabella has successfully seen, and it's a perfect example of filling the frame. Again, if you can make the viewer ask questions when they look at your picture, then you're doing a good job. This one, sorry whoever took it, but this is not a fill the frame picture. It's a good picture, and it's got a good S-curve and the tunnel and everything's good, but it's definitely not filling the frame, because the subject is the people and the people aren't filling the frame. Now, what I would have been tempted to do here if I was doing a fill the frame one, because this is such an interesting tunnel, is I probably just would have gone and stood here and looked up, or even better, gone and stood where these like circular arches are, looked up. I could have gone and stood here and looked along, kind of created a picture that was like that, or even like coming down and see if I can recreate it. Sorry if I'm taking out the people here. Don't be offended if you're one of these people. But like something you could have done on something like this, which has an amazing sweeping line, is you could have used the zoom on your lens.
Ooh, that's cool.
Created something like that. Now that's more fill the frame.
Wow.
And this is a perfect example, this picture, of there's a lot going on. our friends are here. We want to take a pictures of our friends. We've got this cool tunnel. We've got the leading line.
Mhm.
But in this case, I think there's too much going on. Even if I was just taking a picture of these women, I probably would like be doing it like either like that, hope and be patient and wait for those people behind to disappear. I could take it like that. I could take it like this. I mean, there's tons of ways you can take it where they become the focus. Who took this one? You here today? No? Okay. But
Susan took it. I don't know where she went.
who took
That's
it?
me in the picture.
Oh, that's you in the picture. Oh, good. Oh, Susan can't attend today. So nice job,
Okay.
Susan. But
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, you're there. Hi, Susan.
Hi.
Did that all make sense?
It did. I mean, that was just a picture I took that I thought filled the frame, but I liked the way you changed it better.
Yeah. So good job. Let's look at the next one. Look at this one.
Oh, that's cool.
This is really cool. This is again, you'll see how perspective makes such a big difference. This is the outside perspective. I often remember turning your camera upside down, lets you get down to the floor. I like the story here, and I like the playground. I like this looks like you're in New York or somewhere. There's a little bit of blur down there at the bottom that I'd probably crop out. And I'd probably also take out that curved line of the bench. And this is a very effective framed picture. Now we get drawn kind of through the frame towards the slide, towards the nice colorful playground. Look, this just shows you there's lines everywhere. Look at here is a vanishing point. Boom, boom, taking you to the slide. There's also another vanishing point coming in from the side of the picture with the walls are creating it.
Mm.
Who took this one, please? Not here today. But very, very good use of framing, leading lines. Again, is it fill the frame? Probably loosely. I think if I was a GCA judge, I'd probably say it wasn't fill the frame, but I'll let you off. But you could, you could have used your zoom and come in even closer. And now I don't think that's as effective a picture. Maybe that's better. This would have been great if there was a kid going down the slide or someone standing there because your eye would have really got drawn to them. Although be careful taking pictures in playgrounds. But this is really nicely done. Very good. Look at this one.
Oh,
This is a beautiful storytelling picture.
terrible.
Gorgeous little girl standing here in the frame. Very nicely. Now, this is hard to take with the iPhone because the light is coming into the camera. I like that we don't see the girl's face. I think that helps to tell more of a story of your like, what's she doing? What's she thinking? Where is she? She's in this kind of like, I mean, they're like almost looks like she's in like a cave or a castle, like with the stonework around her. Isabella, is this yours?
It is, but it's not. It is mine, but it's not. So, it was taken by my daughter,
Uh-huh.
and I was going, and she sent it to me, and then I cut it a bit because that seemed like a frame.
Yeah, I mean, it most definitely is a frame. We are drawn through the frame of the stonework. It's actually got it's almost three frames: the frame of the stonework, the frame of the window, and then the frame of the windows through there. This photo has a lot of depth to it. It feels very three-dimensional. You may remember that when we talked about framing time before last, I said frames usually do two things. This is an example of a frame. They usually provide context, which is what we've got here. Where like this girl is in this. Where is she, Isabella? It looks like she's in like a chateau.
They're in there. That they went to a museum and they were in Tallinn in Estonia.
Estonia, interesting, beautiful. So we've got the providing context, and then the second thing that including a frame often does is it helps to tell a wider story. And I think here this is a really good story. This picture would also look really good in black and white.
Mm.
Again, don't worry about that too much. We'll probably do a whole lesson on black and whites down the line, but very, very good in terms of putting it together. And I put a few of these together because a few of you found frames successfully. Look at this one. This one's really abstract. I wish it was a little bit straighter. And this one, I'm going to flip this one on its head. And I'm going to put this one, what about that way?
Whoa.
Do any of you know have ever heard of the artist Mondrian, P.A. Mondrian?
Oh, yes.
So this looks like it doesn't have the color, but it looks like a Mondrian in terms
Yeah,
of like
true.
everything segmented into these squares. It's almost perfect rule of thirds in terms of where these lines are falling, and including this window, just like the untrained photographer would stick their camera right against the glass here and just take a picture of the tree. That would arguably be a bit boring. Straight away, by including the frame, we are providing more context, more depth, more story, making our photos stand out. Even this one, which I had no idea what it is.
That's a hand.
I could see a hand and I could see that, and it looks like a stem of a succulent or a plant or like something. But this is a great fill the frame picture because I have no idea what this is. It almost looks like a hand reaching into some colored water. And who took this? Marietta, great. Shed some light. What is it?
It's a lamp, actually.
Interesting.
At a hotel.
So love the colors, love the vivid colors. Like maybe I would have offset the stem a little bit more to the right. Could have been like maybe just pull it a little bit more to the right. So it wasn't, again, I'd be very interested in playing with this and rotating it and like seeing what it looks like in different, it's like so abstract. Look at that. That's great. And this is perfect. Nice job, Marietta. Excellent use of filling the frame to help leave by often, as I said, by showing less, we leave more up to the viewer's interpretation. And that's exactly what you've done here. So nice job. Look at this one. Great focus in this one. Whoever took this, you nailed the focus. Excellent. Very crisp, very sharp, amazing the amount of good light, very nice front-facing light coming from behind the photographer onto the flower. Perfect use of fill the frame. Just watch out for the edges. This is me being super critical. Watch out for up there.
Yeah.
You'd get GCA would 100% ding you on that.
Yeah.
Trying to find something negative. And again, be interested to maybe just off center the center of the flower, a little bit off to the top right or the top left, just to help it flow a little bit more. Minor. I love the colors. And the main thing here that's showing a big improvement as a class, just in general, focusing on something like this is not easy on an iPhone. To get this looking this sharp, this looks like it was taken on a professional DSLR camera. And that's the best compliment I can give whoever took it.
Thank you.
The level of focus. So nice job, Iris. Very good. Let's look at this, like stone craggy. Oh, again, you've got a diagonal running through here. This one has very interesting texture and light. Again, there's a lot. This one has a lot going on. Again, it's taken in portrait. I think this picture would look better as a landscape because I think it feels like it's like layering through. You get more of like the horizontal lines, especially if I straighten it up a little bit. That to me feels like it's got more depth. You've also got this interesting line that you didn't really spot in the vertical orientation of an S curve running through it. But I like these repetitive horizontal lines that are leading you deeper in the frame. Again, I don't have a clue what it is. I think it's a tree. Correct me if I'm wrong. Whoever took it.
It's a tree.
It's a tree, yeah. So nice job, Marietta, and getting close, changing your perspective. Very, very good use of filling the frame. Just don't be afraid to rotate your camera a bit. This one's got great light. This is kind of like Judy's mud wall. Very similar concept. Love the kind of the diagonal strong lines here, taken with a slightly wider angle lens. If I was standing here, I probably would have taken this landscape because I think you would have I haven't got enough room to recreate this, but I think you would have got more of the elongation going down the wall. Almost looks like a pair of glasses there, doesn't it? It's like I need to put in some eyes. But what is it?
It's a chair.
Chair. So here we go. So Marietta has nailed the fact of filling the frame where we have no clue what it is, which is great, which is exactly what we want to do. Nice use of focus on here. Good job, Marietta. Look at this one.
Oh, it's an orchid.
The focus, honestly, for all of you, when I reviewed these last night, I was looking, the jump in quality of sharpness and focus, and I think a lot of you have been practicing that tap to focus, the holding it, the locking the focus. This is hard to do. It may seem easy for you now, but if I would have asked you 2 months ago to take a picture like this, I think a lot of you would have struggled.
It's my picture. I probably took 15 pictures.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, because it was hard to hold it still.
Sorry, and that's when you asked your point about the tripod. Yeah. That makes sense. But you got there, Karen, in the end. And this is excellent. And I like the positioning that you haven't chosen to put the center of the flower right in the middle. We've got some nice leading lines coming down here. In fact, this is kind of naturally framed. And this beautiful color in the orchid. And I love the fact that the focus is right there. And then everything falls off from it. You can even see, look at the level of detail, like in the orchid here. And then here is excellent. Nice job. Very good. Excellent. Look at this one. This one's really interesting. Now, I think a lot of people would object to this pole or whatever it is running through the middle.
Yeah.
I don't mind it because I think it makes it look more abstract. But this one, I don't think we've quite got filling the frame because there's a lot going on. A lot of people's eyes would go to the pole. Okay? A lot of people's eyes may start wandering up towards the building. A lot of people's eyes may go to this big white gap up here. So we want to, if we're truly filling the frame in a scene such as this, we're really close, but I would be like going just to that. Like that's filling the frame if you wanted to keep the post. Going up and saying, I'm going to just focus on up here and create something abstract with the full color, the texture, the brownstone of the building. I think the pole is a bit distracting because it's so bright. And I would have definitely been tempted to take an equivalent picture without it. But hopefully you can see there by me manipulating the composition a little bit, how it could become more of a fill the frame picture. This one's great for perspective.
Oh, pretty nice.
Yeah, so this just shows just getting under a flower. Straight away creates, now the focus on this is not quite right. It's darn close, but it's not perfect. And you can see that ideally, I'd probably like the focus to be like at the top of the stem here, and the focus is more down here. But good, like excellent use here. This one gets a big thumbs up from me for just thinking about changing your perspective. Getting into a position where something that's pretty ordinary, you can make look totally different. Just no camera trickery here. It's just moving. It's just zooming with your feet. I really like this one. It's simple, but it does the job. The juxtaposing textures, the line, it runs along rule of thirds, where we've got 2/3, 1/3. It feels very like brutalistic, like in terms of the architecture, but I love kind of the concrete and the different lines and fluting and texture. Everything kind of brings you up here. This is a really good example of filling the frame again. Again, I have no idea what this is. I presume it's a building or some type of sculpture, but enlighten me if you took the picture. Anyone here? No? Anyone? Elaine, what do you reckon this is?
I'm sorry.
What do you reckon this is?
Oh, I think it's a tile.
Yeah, it could be a tile.
Yeah.
But the point is we don't know. And that helps to create a stronger story. Lots of you photograph flowers, predictably. It's a floral garden club workshop. I'm trying to push you out of just doing flowers, but of course I do want you to photograph this. This again is very nice. Only thing I don't like about this one is this is a perfect example of this is ever you see the term and they say specular highlight, specular highlight is a bright bit of your picture in an unwanted place. And this is a perfect example of a specular highlight distracting from the main focal point. So ideally what we'd want here is this to be cropped a little bit down to here, even further. But no, it looks out of focus. It's not. It's just because you sent me a small version. The sharpness is very good. Same place here. Looks like we're in New York again. Really good use of filling the frame. Like the zebra crossing, but again, I'd probably go further than this. I'd probably crop this to that. I don't think we need all that sidewalk at the front and that extra bar. I think it's distracting. I think ultimately, where do we want to go? We want to go down the street. And to go down the street, we've got a vanishing point, we've got a frame. This pulls you in, I think, a little bit more and is more filling the frame. It's like up there's a broken window. Oh no, it's like a stained glass window. Look at this one. Really good perspective again. Lovely. Feels very like ethereal, this picture. Like very angelic, very soft, very delicate in terms of the flower. Watch the edges of your frame again, not to sound like a broken record, but just be careful. But again, lovely use of focus, lovely use of fill the frame. Very kind of traditional, strong floral image. This your someone said they took a picture of it. Is this yours, Sally?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So Sally, go back and play with this and put the slow shutter speed on, long exposure. And I bet you'll see these people moving, and I bet you see the waves moving. It's a lovely landscape picture, but it's not fill the frame.
Okay.
Primarily because filling the frame is more trying to focus on the little details. Let's give you some examples.
Got it.
So just so everyone's clear on what we're talking about, like Sally's taken a great landscape photo here on the right. The framing's very nice. I like the position of the lady walking down the beach, not showing too much sky, 2/3, 1/3. But all the other pictures here that I put up next to it, I would say are more fill the frame. Whereas I would say your one, Sally, here is a nice landscape picture. Now, how would we create a fill the frame when we were standing here? It's hard.
Right.
We have to focus on some bushes or go down to the beach and find some driftwood or some seaweed or focus just on the waves. That would make it more of a fill the frame. And not every picture that we have to take is a fill the frame picture. That was just the assignment for this particular week. It almost looks like there's some, are they surfers out there? They're not.
Yes. Yes, there were a couple of surf. I was just having fun
that is the most important thing. Everyone take my critiques with a pinch of salt. Like, you guys are doing a fantastic job. My job is to get you just having fun and getting out there and taking pictures. Look at this one. Beautiful, like soft frame, pulling us to this interesting light. Again, you've got texture, you've got line, you've got framing. This picture would be really interesting if the light was turned on, because the light would be creating a nice type of shimmer on the flowers and against the interesting brick wall. But again, watch out for these specular highlights at the top. There, we don't need to be there. We can crop them out. But good job. Now this one, I can't remember who sent it to me, but someone sent it to me and they were like, guess what it is? And I was like, I have no idea. It looks like the slime my kids play with. I'm guessing it's the inside of a pumpkin. Maybe.
It's fungus growing on our big eucalyptus tree that we take care of by the beach.
Oh, so
and
there
it's
we are.
growing on the tree, and I saw it in a panic when my husband and I were driving somewhere, and I yelled, "Stop the car!" He's like, "What?" I go, I've got to show Diana this fungus. And I was so upset by this attack of this fungus. And so anyway, I took a couple pictures that were not of anything. And so I just literally broke it down to just find something that I thought looked just kind of crazy. And
it is kind of crazy. It looks like we're in like an alien landscape here, like created from a fire. Like the texture, the light, work. Just Julie slow. I mean, you were probably in a rush there, but the focus I think could be better. The focus is on the back here.
yeah,
I think in this particular composition, I think the focus would have been better if it was here
right.
on the front. So the focus is on the back, not on the front. But nice job in creating something really kind of colorful, abstract, and filling the frame. Look at this one. Amazing. Like, look how creative the person is. Look at the level of sharpness here the iPhone can create. Again, well done for not showing me the entire thing. I don't need to see the sides. This
Who
one,
is this? Who took this? Do you mind, ladies, sharing? Oh,
no, somebody's not here.
incredible.
Yeah, it's really good, isn't it? I'm sorry, I can't remember. I get so many pictures sent to me that, and I pile them into my folder, and I purposely anonymize them, so because some people don't like me sharing who's taken it. But this feels very sculptural, like very like the lines. It almost it feels like it's got a really nice flow and balance to it. Look at that level of diagonal line, bringing those two elements together. They're running along that somewhat diagonal. It's very, very strong. Really good picture. I'd love to know where this was taken. It looks like it's taken obviously inside with the light coming from behind the photographer onto them. Maybe whoever took it can share next time where they took it, but a really exceptional fill the frame photo. This does not look like it was taken on an iPhone at all, and it was. So nice job, well done. More of now I know who's whose. This is Isabella's fungi on the tree again, I think. But this one's a better focus. This one, the focus is even sharper on this point. Again, be tempted to go like kind of this way, bring more into it. There's tons of ways that you could slice and dice this. Like there's an S curve running through here that you could bring up to. There's your S curve running through the picture. But again, this would be a great one for texture. Focus on this one is it's close. It's like no, it's just a tiny bit sharper here. And I wish it was sharp here. Minor detail, but otherwise nice, really nicely done.
Did you that little spider on that? If
I
you look,
just saw
Oh
it.
yeah, I didn't even spot him.
I just saw it.
Yeah, that's really nice spot, Marietta. Excellent, yeah. And I don't think we spotted it before because the crop was so much wider that I mean now I know it's there. I know it's there, but I didn't spot that when I reviewed this immediately. So good catch. This one's great. Again, this one I don't think we need the floor. I would take out the floor here. I don't think it needs to be there. I'd make this more like that.
Oh, yes.
I think there we kind of flow more down through these plants, like it feels like that. And again, beauty of this as a fill the frame picture is you have no idea whether there's 2 of these, 5 of these, or 50 of these. It's just camera trickery. But who took this? This is very nice. Elaine, very good. Nice job. But can you see how Elaine not including perhaps the floor? And again, like you could have gone landscape on this one and created that. That's a real fill the frame picture. So we've gone from that to that, just to give you some ideas. This one's great as well. Beautiful texture, lovely water. Again, I'd probably, the main focus is maybe a little bit too centered for my personal liking. I'd probably bring it up a little bit to there, kind of naturally get pulled towards the top of the picture, especially because the bottom is darker and our eyes want to gravitate to the bright parts. But really good, really good.
Okay.
Whose was that? Sorry.
I focused on the Manjetta.
Yeah, you got it perfectly. Look how sharp your focus was. It's great. You nailed it. Really nice job. And that magenta. Remember we briefly talked about the color wheel, green and red. Green and red complementary colors on that's why this picture feels very well put together and balanced. Okay, stick with me. I know I'm 2 minutes over. We got a few more to look at. Again, this is really nice for filling the frame. Not showing the whole flower now. It may feel a little asymmetric because we probably don't need all that background. think that's better. And again, really nice focus on the center of the flower. It feels very soft, very delicate, good exposure. This one, it almost looks like ribbon tied up in a bow up there. Again, all of you who took these close-up flower ones, almost every one of you, watch the edges of your frame. Again, GCA don't like this. I only say because I hear people grime about their photos being dinged on this, and they're like, well, that's not really a big deal. I agree, but it is a big deal if it distracts from the focal point. And here the focal point is clearly this like sweep up here, and there's, I kind of like it like that. Almost looks like bunny ears coming out. And then the focus is dead there in the center. Focus is in the right place. It's nice. And look at this one. This one's all about the lighting. Beautiful. So who took this one, please?
Sally.
Okay, Sally, where's the lighting coming from when you took this?
That was early morning.
And you're inside or outside?
Outside.
Yeah. So we've got this very soft early morning light, brings out all the, and because it's early morning, you're getting all the shadowing on the rose. It
Beautiful.
makes it so much more interesting. Love the kind of the little bit of dew and water helps to add some character. It's a great picture. And again, like, I like it how you've composed it, Sally, but you could have easily just gone in on the rose. The lighting here is like exceptional, where you could really, I mean, there's again tons of ways I could slice and dice this, but just to create, almost looks like coral now. But nice job. And last but not least, I straight away in this one, I'm not sure who took it, but I straight away saw a bird's head. I'll show you what I mean. But look at that.
I love it. Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Straight away, this was like, it looked like a fossiled seagull or something. Look.
Oh, yeah.
So, really, really interesting use of line and texture and shape, and an excellent fill the frame picture. Okay, so everyone, you did a really, really good job this week. Really good. Let's keep up the momentum, but we're gonna push you technically now a little bit harder.
Yeah.
So now we're going to introduce this using the live intentional camera movement and showing movement in your pictures. Okay. Anyone got any questions?
Thank you very much.
Okay. Hope there was a lot of information today.
Yeah.
Go back, watch the recording. A lot of the stuff you'll hear me reinforce as we go through. But as I say, this moving your hand around, there's no rules. Break the rules. Have fun with it. Okay. And then our next class, let me just confirm while I've got everyone on the recording. Our next class, I believe, is
December 8th.
December 8th. Fantastic. So everyone have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy a restful week, hopefully, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah.
Thank
Happy Thanksgiving to
you.
you.
Thanksgiving,
Thanks.
everyone.
Adam.
See you. Bye-bye.